Hi everyone, we're here to tell you about our Patreon.
Your support enables our podcast to grow bigger and better. If you love this podcast, check out our VIP area over on Patreon. For as little as £3 a month, that's 70p a week, you gain access to our Patreon exclusive episodes every single week.
These episodes include our monthly talent show, which is live on stage, featuring some of the best comedians in the country. Look at this.
I used to be like a Meatloaf impersonator.
Sing us some Meatloaf right now.
There's evil in the air, there's thunder in the sky, and a killer on a bloodshot streets. Hold down the tunnel where the deadly horizon. Oh, I swear, a young boy down to God.
Plus, you can get up close and personal with us on the Shed episodes, where we are definitely not under the influence of illegal substances.
I'm trying to hold this babe back. Can't hold it back much longer. Oh, not into the
There's an ever-growing archive of Patreon exclusive episodes ready for you to dive into right now this second.
Episodes like the 420 special, where Amy wrote me a comedy set for me to do in front of a live audience who had no idea what I was doing. It was horrific.
It was bad.
Have a look.
I've made a list of the really bad things I've done in my life, and I'm going to make up for them now. I have wanked over my nan. She had really amazing tits.
There's loads of other bonuses like 48 hours early access to our public episodes, pre-sale on tickets and merch.
£5 tiers get you discounts on the live show tickets. You get a free print that was designed by me and Amy. Sick. People put it up in their houses and that. Class.
£10 patrons get free tickets to our live shows. They get a signed print, discount on merch, and an exclusive members only club card.
Ooh, these club cards are reserved for podcast guests and the £10 tier top dons. Check out the details over at patreon.com/the Mild High Club. Join the club, will ya? Get involved.
We absolutely love you guys, and without your support we wouldn't be where we are, so thank you.
We love yous.
On with the show.
You're the best.
We're back. Episode 76 with...
Mo Jamil.
I mean, I never thought I'd say this on this podcast. Winner of The Voice, Mo Jamil. Hello. How are you, man?
Hi.
I know it's weird, isn't it, when you've spent a bit of time before the podcast and then you're like, so how are you? Like, it's a mad thing that you have to do when you start.
We've chilled. We've had like a full hour of chilling.
It's been nice, man. I've enjoyed it so far. It's been fun, hasn't it?
Yeah, so Warrington-based legend. Is that,
Thank you.
Is that, yeah? we'll go with legend. So I found you on Pod. I think you followed us.
Yeah.
And I was like, who's this guy? And then
Yeah, it was
went
mad.
on
We
and
were
I
just
was
sat at home in bed, weren't we? We were like, the winner of The Voice has just started following us.
I think you messaged me.
Yeah, it
instead,
was mad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it still like a big deal for you that
It was a
winning The
while
Voice?
ago now, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like, for me, it will always be, like, an important and, like, special memory for me.
Yeah.
Because,
Oh, yeah.
like, I learnt so much while being on the show.
Yeah.
And it opened so many, like, new doors for me. So, like, it's nice to be able to, you know, look back on it and be like, yeah, you know, I did that. And
Yeah.
because, as I say, I surprised myself, to be quite honest. So
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
one of
it's
those
a
kind of
mad
things.
thing.
There's not many people who are going to do that, innit? Like, there's not many people in the world that'll
Yeah.
win a big singing
And
competition
also,
like that.
we just talk about how you came to be on The Voice.
Yeah.
Like, how did that come about?
So me and my friend Max, we went to an open mic night. We just finished doing our own live music event. So we went to an open mic night and we got up. We both did a song each, and then there were some guys from ITV there.
Oh, right, yeah.
And we were like, and at first, it's one of those things like when someone says from a show, you're like, okay,
Yeah.
like,
Oh, you think the
but-
blagging?
but like we've been told there might be like people there, so like we passed our details on, and then literally the next day we both got an email. We were like, okay, so like they're actually being serious.
Seems a bit legit,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we went and did.
Did that feel amazing? Was it, like, because it's like being scouted, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it was one of those things where like at the time you're like, okay, so like
Must
you
be
know,
good.
Yeah. Must be doing something right
Yeah.
yeah,
for them to want me to come on the show and whatever, yeah.
and then we went through like a few like audition stages before you get to do the coach's audition.
Yeah.
Okay, I think has Andrew Boyle asked about audition?
He has, yeah. He did ask about the audition.
Sorry, that's our Patreon. There's
Yeah,
questions.
sorry,
for you.
I was just taking pictures. Well, the audition video was on 18 million, wasn't it? 18 million views.
Oh, yeah,
That was the
that's
thing.
madness.
Because I don't really watch talent shows, not like that. I watch movies, aren't I, little pothead?
Yeah.
And last night, trying to do some research, 18 million, and it was amazing. By the way, you know what I mean. The performance is amazing.
Audition, yeah.
18 million. I was
So,
like, oh shit.
How long had you been doing like the open mic singers circuit or whatever?
I'd probably started probably say like 17, 18.
Yeah. And then what age was you when you got on The Voice?
I probably got on, I think I was probably around 21.
Okay. So a few years into the scene.
Yeah, but I'd always, so like I started by doing, I used to make like Facebook videos and like I'd record like covers.
Nice.
And like I'd post them on my Facebook page and like varied responses. And it was just one of those things where I just wanted to get better, and I felt you're not going to get better if you can't take criticism from people. So you have to learn.
So when you say you were getting criticism on like Facebook and that, was it off just randoms?
Well,
it wasn't off people that you know, was it?
Well, no, like it would be people who you know, but it was it was like constructive criticism. So
right,
like,
okay.
I like it never
benefited
really, like,
for you, like
it never really like bothered me.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where like I've always loved music from like an early age. So I kind of wanted to get better, and so I felt the next stage was, well, if I start performing, get used to being in front of crowds.
Yeah.
That would be the next stage. And to be honest, like most of the time, like people be pretty receptive. There has been moments where like the crowd has literally been like dead.
Yeah.
For different reasons.
I was going to ask you about that.
Like,
I was going to ask you about that later, because we have comedians on a lot, and like a big question is, what's your worst gig? And there's so many. But for a singer, that must be an odd situation.
Yeah.
If
Did
it's
you get heckled at all singing and stuff like that? Has that ever happened?
You get heckled, and it's one of like.
What are the heckles? Not as good as the original.
Play Wonderwall. It's like honestly, I think I lost count of how many times people have like come up to me and like, can you play Wonderwall? It's like, fuck off. Like face like no. I like Oasis, but not many black people like picking up the guitar and going, let's learn Oasis. So, like,
do you play as well as sing?
It's like I played a little bit of guitar. Like I'm not going to claim to be like this elite guitarist, because I feel like all like musicians, whenever like you say, oh, like you play piano or you play guitar, like their expectation of like your skill, because you've now said, oh, I play enough to be able to write songs, and like if I need to play like solo, I can do that. Yeah. But I'm not going to claim to be like some like Slayer. But,
so what does your worst and best gig come to mind?
I'd say to my like they come to mind. My worst gig, and my friend Dave will back me up on this, because it was one of the most. It was a strange experience. I felt like I'd been like teleported back to like the 1950s.
That doesn't sound like a good start.
I'm just gonna before I tell this story, the venue, like the owner, lovely guy.
What location was it in?
It was in Warrington.
Okay.
Unfortunately, this takes place in my own hometown. So the owner of the venue, like me and my friend Dave, we'd known him for a while. He'd come into places that I'd performed in the past, and like he's one that once he'd met me the first time, whenever he knew I'd be performing, he'd like ask me to come, like he'd ask like if he could come along, like yeah sure. So he took over a pub, and he was like, I've just taken over this pub, could you like come down and sing? And I was like, yeah sure, no problem. So we pull up to the venue, we set up our gear, do a sound check, start playing some songs. So I'm like 4 or 5 songs in, and at this point, like, no one's really like reacting. And I'm just like, I was like, am I sounding bad? Like, am I off or something?
Yeah. So when you say they're not reacting, was he just not engaging and just
they were watching?
Oh, okay, so they were watching, but not reacting.
It was clear that people were watching.
Yeah.
But they weren't but they weren't.
Clapping.
So when you
just
finished, they
clap.
just wouldn't clap or nothing.
Yeah, like they would,
Oh.
like it would just be like dead. So like
Oh, yeah,
this is
okay.
like we're like 5-6 songs deep in at this
Yeah,
point.
that must be so hard
And
when
I'm-
all you want is like a little bit of this.
And I'm just like, what is it? And I turn around to Dave. I was like, Dave, you play a tune. Dave plays a song.
Everyone go wild.
Honestly,
Was
so
it
like
Wonderwall?
it wasn't even Wonderwall, and he started clapping. I was like, oh no, we're in one of these places, and I was like, you know what? I'm not budging. So we keep on going, and so probably like after like an hour, like we take a break, and then like I go to the bar and I was like, do you want me to go? Because like the
Not vibing,
like
innit?
this is clearly not like working.
Yeah.
And he was just like, oh, I'm not going to say what kind of group of people they were, but let's just say that they were. Let's just say that these particular group of people obviously aren't used to seeing people like.
I'll say it. They were racist, I think. Let's just say they were racist. They were racist in Warrington, everyone.
Yeah, it was a bit of an awkward one.
Yeah.
A lot of bald heads.
Well, it wasn't.
That's just the women.
Because I don't want to point the finger at like groups because I don't. As I say, I believe there's good and bad in all
Yeah.
cultures and groups of people. So we just chalked it down to that experience. But then when we were trying to leave the venue, it was just so like I had to turn around and we had to get the bar owner and be like, yeah, these guys clearly aren't like gonna let me out. You're gonna have to like,
Oh, really?
walk out. With
I think
us.
you're allowed to say that them people are racist.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Just say it.
oh no, don't get me wrong. They were definitely racist.
Okay, there we go.
But they were. It was a certain group
Right, yeah,
of
yeah.
people that was kind of
That's
like.
so shit.
And it was all like, it was weird because like my guitarist Dave, we've known each other like pretty much like since I've been gigging because like he came into one of the bars I was playing in, and this is going back to the whole guitarist musician
Yeah.
shit. He came up to me and was like, "You got a really good voice. You shit at guitar." and I was just like, you know what? I admire your honesty. And he was like, I play guitar, and I was like, all right. And then literally just from that one interaction, we started learning songs together so that we could
that's good.
perform.
Yeah,
and like,
yeah,
so
yeah.
we've known each other like ever since then.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
And like for him, he was just like, that's so weird. Like that's the first time we performed and people have cheered for me. You know?
Yeah.
It's
So
fun when you said
It's so unfortunate that even happens as well, isn't
know.
it? Shit.
So yeah, your worst gig involved racists.
Yeah.
I was
So
just
did mine. It was weird.
really.
Yeah, we went to we were doing a gig in a place called, I think it was like the Black Bull or something in like Gateshead or something up north ways, like back near Newcastle and all that. And we pulled up to the venue and there was like two proper skinhead couple outside, like in all the fucking acid wash jeans, big Doc Martens. Both of them had skinheads, like the woman as well. We were like, oh, I don't know about this place. Do you get what I
After
mean?
that face, you just think it's like a metal bar or something like that. Or
We just thought it was a pub, a venue. Do you know what I mean? Like we didn't see anywhere online, and it was a fucking BNP rally gaff.
Oh, shit,
do you know what I
really,
mean?
yeah.
Which is what like they held rallies for BNP parties and that. But like our bassist was Chinese. Do you know what I mean? And like he instantly felt like I don't know how I feel about this, and like they was proper staring us out and that. And then we were like, "Oh, can we load in?" And they were like, "Yeah, they're just doing something in there." I think they're doing tattoos in the place where we're doing the fucking gig.
was this the Lost and Damned?
I don't know what it was. They were doing
Biker
tattoos and there was a dog barking in there and everything. And I was like, what is happening here? But the people who were there were like just so moody, just proper staring us
bar?
out and all
You
that.
can
And,
feel it.
and I looked at another band that were on and Googled them and it was like Italian power metal or something. And it was known for being a bit white
fascists and
supremacy
that, yeah.
type stuff.
Shit.
And I was like, fuck this. So we just went, we're just going to move the van round the corner. Just drove off, just drove home. And then I was Googling it on the way home. And that's when we found out about being like BNP rallies and shit in there. We were like, ugh.
So Dean was in a band as well.
Yeah, man. Metal bands, though. Like, proper. One of them was just music to fucking fight to. It was just, just noise, man, live. Like, but yeah.
What was you going to say, Tom?
It was just the fact that 18 million people have watched. Does that number ever, when you think fucking 18 million?
That is a lot of people, isn't it?
That's insane.
Do you know what? When I see the numbers, it is one of those things where I am like startled by
Yeah.
it sometimes,
Yeah.
mainly because like if I think back to like the first time when I'd ever uploaded stuff to SoundCloud, and I used to upload stuff to SoundCloud with my phone, so like I'd record it on my phone and then with my guitar with singing, and then I just like upload stuff. So this is before like people really had like home studios and stuff. So like that was just like my way of like, and there's like that would get like maybe like if I was lucky maybe like a few thousand, but then to like suddenly see like.
Yeah.
And that few thousand as well, you're probably like, fucking hell, got 2,000 views on this.
Yeah, and that was just one video. If you added up all the other videos as well, they'd probably have fucking loads more. But, so let's talk about your best gig then.
My best gig actually is also in Warrington.
Oh really?
So there's this place called The Lounge, and like I used to play there every weekend for a few years, and it was like the really like my first like real like home, I'd say, like in Warrington, just because everyone who went there like we're all like you know our own community, like a huge family. We all knew each other.
Yeah.
And we used to play there on the weekends, and on the Saturdays it would always get really like it would get like heavy,
Rowdy.
But because like I'd be performing, Max would be performing, this guy called Greg Dixon, he'd get up and perform, and because we all knew everyone who went there, we all knew each other.
Yeah.
And then obviously people who didn't know anyone, just like they'd get in and be like, oh, this place is like booming. And so we used to have some like great Saturdays, and I mean like to the point where the place is heaving, every single person is like
just happy to be there and that. They're the best nights when everyone's just happy to be there, having a good time. There's no like moody vibes going on and everything. Like, sick.
And it's the place where I really like learned how to like perform. Like
Cut your teeth and stuff.
Yeah,
like that,
like you could really just do what you want.
Yeah.
And like the energy that people brought, like you'd seen everyone dancing, and like the stage was like, it wasn't a huge stage, but and like there was nothing blocking people, so you'd have people up on stage sometimes, and it was just amazing, like to see all these people just those few hours you can just forget about everything else that's going on, and just having a good time. And so there was so many memories from those Saturdays. It's like
I was shocked that it wasn't when I won The Voice. You know what I mean? He's like, no, but it's a genuine moment.
Jennifer
isn't it?
Hudson. But the Lounge in Warrington.
Brilliant. I think that's amazing though.
Yeah.
I feel like no matter where like I end up in my career, I feel like those moments with the people who have helped me grow, like those are the moments that I'm gonna like savor more, because you get to see other people like who are also doing music go on to do other things, and so those moments where when you look back on them, it's like, oh, do you remember when he did that? Well, now I'm going to go watch them at festivals. And so forth. And
it's what built you, in it. It's what made you who you are, and that like
how we feel with Adam and Dan.
Yeah. Just all the success. I just
googled it quickly then because I couldn't get 18 million out my head, and like I've just like Honduras 9 million people. United Arab Emirates, 9 million people. When you put it into perspective, okay, more than Hungary, more people. There's 9 million people in Hungary.
Is there anywhere with 18 million?
Probably.
Yeah, there will be.
China, I imagine.
China's got like a billion.
It's got a billion, yeah.
Well, there you go. We need to get that clip over to China.
I got it just quickly while you was talking about getting scouted at the gig. Remember when that guy like? The maddest thing at a gig. The gig was really quiet, and stand-up gigs, like music, I've done a few gigs in the band where it's quiet and there's no atmosphere, and especially when you're playing heavy metal music and you're trying to fucking get involved, everyone's just sat having a pint, like you're like, move everybody, like so it's a weird. So stand-up's the same. Like if there's no one there, even if they're laughing, it still feels like you're dying.
Yeah.
And it was in like Preston. This is why it was weird, because it was in Preston. There's about 6 people in. Everyone was struggling all night just because there was only 6 people in. And I went on last and just like I was just chatting to people, like having a fucking breakdown on stage. And there was some guys at the bar. And as I come off, he was like, oh, good job, man. And he was like, you strike me as a guy who likes action films. And I went, I mean, I don't don't mind them and that. I used to watch them when I was younger and that. And he's like, yeah, but do you know about Rambo and Die Hard and that? And I was like, yeah, I know of them. I'd have to watch them again if you. And he was like, oh, okay, give me your email. Give me his email. And he's like, because I write for something. And he emailed me, and he was a writer for epic rap battles of history.
Yeah.
That. And he was like, oh yeah, we're filming one. Just want to see if you wanted to write anything for it. It's going to be Rambo, John Wick, and John Thingy from Die Hard.
Did you tell me about this?
I don't know. But then I was like, I mean, I'll try. And I tried to write some and sent them, and they were just like, yeah, all right, yeah. But that was a weird one, just being impressed in the guy going, epic rap battles of history.
Did that episode come out?
Yeah.
Did you watch it? No jokes?
Yeah, no.
Never mind.
I was like, maybe this line.
That's so great. But that just goes to show you, like, always perform
anyway,
best.
Yeah. Just do your thing, innit?
It's
mad though.
To put in an application to be on a TV show called The Traitors, I think it is. And they was like, I'll send you to a castle in Scotland, and it's a psychological warfare game involving a big pot of money, and some people have to be the liars and pretend they haven't got the money and all that.
I think you'd be great at that.
But I was like, I'd be far too stressed. I enjoy my life nice and simple. It was stressful in the beginning, and now I try and keep it as chill as possible. But I say that, but I never don't chill. But yeah, I just couldn't do it because I had uni and that, and I was like, I'd be so stressed doing that.
It's just mad
win 10 grand
when you get picked up for, like, innit?
Yeah.
You don't know when it's going to happen.
Little question for Mo. I was wondering about, and it says here about performing to so many people, but I'm thinking performing on television, because there's so many cameras and there's set runners and stuff like that. Does it kind of change the mood a little bit? And it's not as natural. Or did you just?
It was one of those. I think because I'd spent so much time performing, like the way that like I kind of like put it into my head was walk on stage and you're singing for 1 minute 30, and like in my mind it was like 1 minute 30 compared to like the endless hours that like
in front of racists
that I used to. It was like, it's really not that bad.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm getting paid more to sing for 1 minute 30 than I am to work. Work at hotel for like 54 hours and in a week. And
at any point in the audition, did it come to it? Because I mean, it was again, it was a great performance, but did you think maybe no one's going to turn around at all? Because it was quite fast. I mean, they were quite fast, like, but
waiting for the chairs.
I was more focused about the rip in my pants.
Oh, did you
have a rip in your pants?
So like, when I was walking up to go onto the stage, I ripped. So I've still got the jeans at home. And I took a step up, and like I must have like stepped up too high. And I'm literally like ripped like my jeans and
right before you're about to go and tell it.
So like I literally like walked on and it's like, if you watch your audition, you'll notice that I've literally tried to keep my legs like.
I'll have to watch that again and see that.
Because like my eyes are down and just like, I've ripped my pants. It's like I'm not at this point. I'm not really looking like at the judges. I'm just gonna sing the song and just hope that my pants, like the whole of my pants, doesn't show on camera.
Walking on like a South Park character. And
then like I can remember hearing like one of like a douche, and I was like, I kind of like look up a little bit, and I was like, okay, one of them's turned. I was like, that's the guy who took Max. Like, ideally, like do you know what? While I was on the show, I really liked Gavin because he was just a really nice guy to talk to. But in my mind, I was like, if I end up on his team, they're gonna put me against Max, and I don't want that. So I was like, someone else like needs to turn around. So then I was like, keep on singing, and then everything like start to hear like the different like buzzer thing sounds going off, and I was like, okay, that's 2, that's 3, and I was like, oh, I got 4 now. And then that was the point when I was like, okay, I can like chill,
relax with the song a bit more.
And like it was fun, but because it was over, like it's literally like 1 minute to like sing, and then like you look up and then everyone's just like,
it's amazing,
there's way more people in here than like I realised.
Well, I did like a weird thing where he like jumped on the front of the chair. I noticed that. I was like, what the fuck's he doing? What are you doing?
Do you know when like while you're singing and you hear the buzzers go off, it's mad that like in your head you were going, right, that's 1, there's another 1, but to everyone else you're there just singing your song. Like it's like you're doing 2 different things at once there. You're singing, you've got to remember all the words to your song and that. Don't fuck the song up. But in your head you're going, fucking hell, I'm just turning around there.
Oh
my god.
To remember the lyrics, and you just want to be like, yes,
Would you just go into like sort of? I don't know if it's the same. You know, when you're doing stand up and like,
oh yeah,
you hear something, but your joke's still coming out, but in the back of your head, you're like, he's doing that over there. Why are they moving? Why have I just said that? Like, I don't know if it's like that same sort of thing with your head. Like, yeah, it's a weird thing that happens.
I think it's like a performance muscle. That you know what I mean? Like.
It's like you've been autopilot at the front, and then you're manning it at the back, going, "All right, where's this going?" Like it's a weird thing that your head does.
So you ended up on. Why did you pick? Was it Jennifer?
Yeah. The main reason why I picked Jennifer, I felt like because of like her voice, like it kind of, I was like, it's too, like her voice is too good not to want to like learn from her.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like her, like being in front of her and like watching her sing at times, like you just sit there and be like, how? Like how are you doing this?
Yeah, it must be weird to see right in front of you, like
power,
one-on-one.
Yeah,
you know, like
I to this day, like the only time when I've ever felt any like heard anything close to that was I went to an award show and Andrea Bocelli was performing.
Oh shit! Yeah.
And
madness, yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie. I fully had like tears because I was just like, this is like
just powerful.
Yeah.
It, like my whole entire I had goosebumps like the whole time he was singing.
No way.
And like my body would like I felt like I was having an out of body experience.
Yeah,
because it was just like
mad, innit?
It hits you differently as well. That kind of music, I feel.
Frequencies, mate.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like you're in a wind tunnel.
I was in like sheer awe. Like my eyes were just like I felt like my body couldn't move, and I was just watching this guy. And at one point, it just like stood up because I was just like, "This is just incredible." I don't even.
Was you the only one stood up?
I think like at first like there was me and like maybe a couple of people. And by the end of it, everyone else had started to stand up. At one point, I just stood up, just watching him, just like,
crazy.
This guy is incredible.
Yeah.
I think singing there must be something in us that is where it's good for you, isn't it? Because it's meant to be like what is it? I don't know if it's reduces pain or something.
Dopamine, isn't it?
So it does something like very good for you. And there's lots of different.
It's very primal as well, though. Singing,
yeah.
If you go back like way far
just
enough,
screaming.
Very
That's
true.
nice.
That's why death metal's so therapeutic. They were just like
who was it growing up in the house? Was it like your mum or your dad who was like your main? You got a lot of influence from them musically.
Do you want to talk about your backstory a bit?
I don't mind.
You're gonna feel.
Oh really?
No,
okay.
no, it's not.
Didn't do enough research.
Do you know what? Don't feel guilty about it.
That's all I do. All I do is put my foot in it on this fucking podcast.
No,
Big old foot in it there.
Jesus. But it's an interesting segue.
Don't worry about it. So I was born. So I was born in London. I was born into the care system.
Okay.
It was the thing. The thing is, like, when people say that phrase, like the care system, I feel like a lot of people kind of have like mixed emotions because people hear different stories, and so it can be, and like especially with like TV shows in particular, because of the way that sometimes the stories are presented. Unless you get like the full context, it can come. People can just
got a lot of negativity attached to it.
On a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like my early years, like they were great. From birth to like 3, was like my first stint in being in care. Lived with loads of different families, different religions, different races, and I learned a lot. I feel like if I hadn't have gone through that, I don't think I would have I'd view the world the way I see it now, because by like all these different, I was exposed to all these new cultures, and it was great. Like I didn't really feel like I was left out in anything.
There's blessings and lessons in everything.
It's like you went traveling, but didn't leave the country. Because people go traveling and they go, "Oh, I learned about this culture here," but I had to go all the way to Thailand. You know, like that. But like you picked up all this like knowledge of people. Like,
well, was there anyone you remember having an effect on you musically, or maybe introducing you to music, or was it kind of a natural thing?
I feel like the music kind of ties in to like the next bit. But I feel like if there was one family in particular when I was younger who like they were called the Carns, and they were they were a lovely family. Like even to this day, like I still think about them. Like I wonder like where they are and stuff. But they were just such it was such a lovely family, and where I generally felt like I was a part of the family. I wasn't. Every single person in the family made me feel like it was my home, like I could speak to them. And they were the last family that I had lived with before I met my adopted mum. My adopted mum. But they like even now like it's like been over like 20 odd. It's been over 20 years since like I've seen or spoke to them. But they always like left a long lasting memory on me.
So from 0 to 3 is when you was fostered around, and then 3 you got adopted. Right. That's nice.
That's
You got adopted. What was it like in care? Like was it?
Well, like it's one of those like you can kind of. It's one of those like when you're really young, I kind of knew could understand what was going on. Obviously, you're moving around a lot. You're seeing a lot of people and being introduced to new people. So after a while, I kind of knew I was a little bit different to other people who were around me. But it didn't really like phase me because I was like, this is obviously at that point it was all I really knew.
Yeah, you didn't know any different.
So it was just one of those experiences where. You know, you can't really change anything, so you kind of just have to go
just roll with it, and
and then I met my adopted mum, who at first she was fostering me for a few years. Very Christian household. We went to church like all the time, like at least twice a week.
Really, yeah.
So and like it was one of those things. I feel. Different cultures have their own ways of
broadens the mind, doesn't it? Really, yeah.
Like our household was very African household, but I think as much as different cultures have their own ways of dealing with things, there were like limits. I would say. But I think that's where I first got a taste for music, because with going to church, you see a lot of gospel choirs, a lot of gospel music played at home. So that was kind of like my early experiences in music.
Yeah,
you're very soulful as well. Your music, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, like I do love like soul music. I love R&B music. Even as I said, I'm not a religious person myself. But I do love this like. Different textures within the music, so I will listen to it. And so like grew up in this point we're still living in London, and it was weird, like things kind of just got really dark for someone. Like things got really dark. She got married. And then it just shit just like hit the fan, like in
bloody man.
Like shit hit the fan so quickly, and to the point that it's weird because like as a child, like because I kind of just was going through the motions, and I didn't know any better.
What age was this about?
This is so from like 3 till about the age of 7.
All right,
I was with my adopted mum, and it was such a toxic environment to the point where like I don't even know how to describe it. There was like just so much violence and like so much anger, and I feel like for me it's why a lot of the time like I don't really like conflict. Like and mainly because I don't like being put in that space of like anger and having to like have a like animosity towards other
it's just
people.
a bad energy in it.
Just like a bad energy. And then when I was in year 4, I got taken off my adopted parents, and it was it was mad. The day started just like a normal school day, but but my adopted mum had been in hospital because of the guy she'd married. And then I went to go. So like we used to read the Bible at the start of the day. That was like, oh, read the Bible, have breakfast, blah blah. And then she saw something like my collar was dirty because my stepdad hadn't washed my clothes because, I'd say, giant bellend to begin with.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And then shit just escalated, and all I could remember like from that day was her coming into the room with extension cables, basically, like literally those there.
Yeah.
And then shit just escalated, and then I can remember getting into school, and I had peed my first lesson, and like literally the moment I took my top off, my teacher just looked at me and was just like, "What the fuck's going on?" And then that's when I got put back into care, and then I stayed in care from then up until the day before my 17th birthday.
Oh shit, man.
And like it's one of those things, like I feel I've not, like, I think this is probably the first time I've probably like explained things in deep, like that's the most in depth I've ever really gone with it. But it's one of those things, like, even though like those things have happened, like I'm not necessarily gonna like forget them, but at the same time I feel like I use those experiences and like kind of like as a learn,
absolutely,
to learn. Like as I say, like I'm a dad now, and it's weird. Like I think it's probably hit home more since becoming a parent, because like when I look at my son, I just couldn't imagine like putting him through anything like that. And so, but at the same time, like I still plan to like adopt when I'm older. Like I still believe that adoption and fostering is a good thing, and it can help a lot of people.
Definitely.
It's brilliant.
So, regardless of like what's happening.
Amy's said for years she wants to do the same, innit? Like,
I'd love to adopt. It breaks my heart that like any kid doesn't have a family. Like that's the worst. I just don't know if we'd be allowed now because we do this.
Can you imagine?
You got a big bong behind you. No.
Don't worry, we'll put corks in all the bongs so the kid can't get high.
Childproof the bongs,
So all that, I imagine all that moving around then, when you got older, you just really want stability. And then being able to give that to your child, I imagine, is really rewarding.
Yeah, like I think, like when, as like for a while, like I was a bit of a wreckhead. Like I went through, like mentally, like for a while, I just like broke down. Like I got when I was like leaving school, like I kind of just struggled for a while.
Was that 17, 18?
Like even
After
before,
that,
it's like I took like some time out during my last year of school, just because this one day I just couldn't go in. I was just like, and I just turned around to my foster mum, and I turned around to the teachers and said, if I'm being brutally honest, like I don't feel like I can go to school, and I feel like if I go into school, I'm going to be a danger to myself or to other people, and so I just don't want to be around people. It's not, and I just don't think it's the right idea. So I took some time away from school, and like I'd have like work sent home, and then I was having a science tutor, because even though I had a science tutor, and I still didn't get even a C in science. So like, fuck it, like I don't need science to do music. So
were you performing during this time at all? Were you singing?
I was always writing at home, and like that was the thing. Like I've been writing for like a young age, just because I found it like therapeutic. I wouldn't say a lot of those songs were really good, but it was just the experience and like getting those thoughts and emotions down. Because I think the person that like I kind of portrayed when I was younger, like I feel like I tried to keep a front on a lot of the time, because I didn't want people to see weakness.
Yeah, you're just
because
protecting yourself, innit?
anyone who knew like my situation, I felt could use my situation against me. So you just put on a front a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But obviously alone and at home, I just sit like write lyrics and write like even just writing my thoughts and feelings down in a way that I could. In any way,
the way you're getting them out in it, instead of bottling them up, like say like if doing therapy or whatever, just write a letter to yourself or whatever to keeping diaries. So it's similar, just getting it out in it. So even if you're not telling someone, you're kind of telling something by getting them out on paper.
So much emotion inside, and it needs processing, and that can come out in so many different ways. In if you write a song or you paint. Or even just, I think, like, getting massages and that. Because you store tension in your muscles and that, innit?
Yeah.
I feel a lot better after a massage.
Can you remember the first time you went on stage and sang and performed?
And
what age you were and stuff?
I was in, the first time I can properly remember, I was in year 7. And there was a guy called Matthew Mortimer who played piano. He was a few years older than me. And he'd always play piano like in one of the music rooms, and like I'd go into school early and like always walk past the music rooms and hear him playing piano, and I was just like always enjoyed listening to him. And then he was playing Somewhere Only We Know by Keegan one day, and I just like walked in, started singing it, and then we ended up performing it in school for like one of these performance evenings that we had in school. And I just remember most of it. For most of it, I had my eyes closed. Like, I do even now. Like, there's moments where, like, when I start singing, I forget that like I'm performing like in front of people. Or just like I'll start singing and I'll just go into like it's not even nerves. It's like the ultimate like calm zone where like literally you literally forget where I am.
Just go inwards.
And I'm just like I feel like so peaceful.
Yeah.
And like I'm not even bothered about a crowd or what's going on. I'm literally just in that moment and I'm just enjoying.
That performing in school though is like horrible, innit?
Yeah.
Like in front when there's like people from like your year and all the teachers and all that, you're like, oh, this is weird.
Girl, you fancy in this.
yeah. You just hit the wrong note and that you're like, oh no, everyone heard that.
I remember they did a school play. This is like secondary school though, and it was Oliver, and I went and auditioned for it. And then just being like, and then just the
teachers
panic.
didn't turn the chairs round. They were like, no, not today.
Did you get in it?
I got a part, and then
who was it?
I don't know. I was like one of the.
Probably one of the.
It was. I think I was a. Yeah. I think I was a bit like gutted that I didn't get a better part.
Yeah. Right.
Do you know what I mean? I was like,
you want to be Nancy?
But I was terrified because I just knew the lads in my ear would be like, wow,
yeah,
Oliver.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And
so
I'm gutted I never did it. But that was the one thing that stopped me. I just thought I'm just be arsed getting bullied mercilessly.
I remember we were meant
kids.
to do like a in like we have like an assembly, but it was when we were in sixth form, I think, and it was just like our sixth form every Monday morning or something, and he'd asked us to do like a performance at that Monday morning. Yeah. And I was like, I don't feel good about any of this. So we were like, right, we'll just play a little tune. And we were going to play like Another Brick in the Wall, Pink Floyd, just have fun with it, play it. And then when it came, we all just went, nah. Yeah. But we had the drum kit set up and that, ready to go.
No way.
And I just went to the lad who was playing drums. I went, lad, yeah, you're just doing a 5-minute drum solo here, you know. And he was like, what? And I was like, someone's got to do something. I was like, but I'm out, mate. I'm not doing this. So we just went up and just for 5 minutes, just like, and everyone's just like, what's going on, lad? What's happening here? It was awful.
A funny thing about that Oliver audition though, because it was like obviously like loads of kids from all in the school auditioning, and it was a lad who I went on to be good mates with, Kirk. He was like a really rough lad, and he was in the and he was like he saw me and he went white as a sheet because he was known to be like a bit of a scrappy kid or whatever. Yeah. He went on to like fucking sell heroin in Wales and that.
He's in Oliver.
Yeah, exactly. And he auditioned for Oliver. But so growing up, I used to hold that over his head. If we were out, we were younger, we were in the park with girls or whatever, I'd be like, don't forget, lads, I know you auditioned for Oliver. And just drop that, and he'd be like, don't you fucking ever mention that. Don't you ever mention that I auditioned for Oliver.
Like an American film subplot,
funny, isn't it?
Yeah. I didn't go to school long enough to be involved in
anything.
Apart from when I was four, I think I was the Gabriel Angel.
Oh, of course you was.
I pissed myself during my primary school.
Did you?
Oh no!
Yeah.
Good thing you didn't do that. for the voice,
I was only a narrator as well. I weren't. That was the
you
worst.
were off stage as well.
So like we were on a bench and I had a star, like one of them stars on my head. And the only reason why I was a narrator was because like even though I was young, like as I say, like Christian household didn't have games consoles, didn't really like have a lot of but there was a lot of books. So like I read a lot of books.
Yeah.
So like I was a good reading age. Like, go on, you can be a narrator.
Yeah.
Got on, stood up, and it got to like my part in the narrating, and I had the piece of paper in front of me. I looked up, looked at the piece of paper, looked at everyone, and my legs just started going like that. And then before I knew it, I was just like warm, and then I was just like, I was like, well, I might as well finish. Like I can remember it. I was like, well, I'm not going to stop because like I've already started now. So I might as well
A
just,
teacher in the back went, "You'll never go on to win a voice." That kinds of stage competence.
Do you think that's why like you might shut your eyes sometimes now, like subconsciously, because it was seeing the people made you go, "Oh fuck."
Maybe.
Like now, subconsciously, you sort of shut your eyes.
Breakthrough.
Yeah, maybe. So we always hit this
I know,
on this
we
podcast, you know.
Yeah,
Best therapy
we did
session
ask
ever.
about most embarrassing stories, but that might
be up there.
That's
Pretty good.
definitely got to be up there.
Yeah, imagine. Has anyone ever weed themselves on The Voice?
Not that I'm aware of.
Or fell over going on?
I wanted to go back. I want to go back to The Voice, and I wanted to ask: does it ever get with the other contestants? Does it ever get bitchy or competitive? With there anyone who was maybe taking it too?
Yeah, they always look like everybody wants everyone else to win.
Yeah, like
don't
everyone's
they?
best mate.
That's how it always comes across.
Do you know what it is? I wouldn't say that it was bitchy or competitive. I think there was a bit of a change. So like before the auditions happened, as opposed to after the auditions aired, I would say there was definitely a switch in the way that different contestants treated me. Because beforehand, like it's like the night before the auditions, like we stay in, like we go to the hotel, so that you can get like shuttled over to Media City, and there was, in a way, it kind of worked out really well, because I got on the tram and it was Georgie who was on my team, and like speaking on the tram and we listened to each other's tunes, and like we're still friends now, we still speak, and like her mum and dad had come down, and like we were in the hotel like bar area basically, and like a few other people were there, and like a small group of us like made friends together, but you could hear like everyone like singing like in their hotel rooms.
That's funny.
It's like I like went back to my room and I was watching the American football, and just didn't give like wasn't really bothered that we had an audition.
You can just
like,
through the walls.
Oh, your glasses smashing and that. Fuck's sake, I don't know what.
And then like the next day, like we get taken over to Media City, and like we kind of like all these different rooms and like corridors where people like getting changed and shit. And then that was kind of where you kind of start to feel a little bit of like everyone's like sat there like looking at each other and shit.
Like,
And
one
of us are gonna win this.
Yeah.
and me and my mate Max, like we were just sat like in a corner, just sat chilling. And like as I say, like we don't try to be anything like other than what we are. As I say, like
it's hard to be who you are.
I wore the same like 4 pairs of jeans for like this like 4 or 5 years. And, like I've still got them at home. And, like some of them I refuse to throw them out just out of like principle for like that time period of when I was like, remember that time like you were broke as shit. Like I wore like the same clothes for like the same time period, and I was just like I can't bring myself to throw them out.
I'm in that boat now.
Just because like the memories and like all the like. I'm in a way I'm one of those people where like I'll see something like I can't get rid of that.
Like a nostalgic hoarder.
I'm like that. It's hoarding. It's because if you had nothing when you grew up, you're like, no, I have to keep it just in case. Something in the back of your head will be clinging onto it because you've not fully come into this new of Oh, I don't need every little scrap of thing
Yeah.
now.
I'm glad you've just come to that psychological breakthrough.
No, I've
He's
not
gonna
yet.
get home and be like, listen,
That's
Yeah.
going.
No.
All these
I'm
train
cooking.
tickets. Amy's got about 10,000 train tickets
What,
at
from
home.
memories, just like...
No, I just
No?
thought maybe one day I can make a sculpture of a train.
Oh, fucking hell.
I know,
Hard
I
work,
know.
you probably end up selling that for quite a bit because people buy
No
like
one knows.
I mean,
Did-
yeah, he's doing well as well.
like
Isn't he?
people buy like all kinds of like random stuff.
Yeah, they
It's
do.
Yeah.
like I saw a painting got sold
Can I
and
just
it
get
was
you to
literally
move that just in front? No, you can. If
Oh.
you just want to stay that way, just
Oh, no.
slide it that way, man. Sorry.
I like someone sold a painting and it was literally like a dot on a white
Oh, you
canvas
see
and I
all
was,
that
and I was
shit.
Lines
like,
me up there.
Do you know what I? Do you know what I
Lines me
love? Do you know what I love? There was an experiment years ago, and there was a. You'll probably be able to find it on YouTube. And they hire a wall out in a gallery, but they just put an IKEA. It's about £4. Do you know what I mean? And they put that up in a nice frame, and then they have people coming up and they're going, oh yeah, I see what they're going for with the brush strokes and the.
Did you see the thing with the glasses?
No.
Some fella's glasses dropped his glasses.
Oh yeah, you told me.
And
Yeah.
he'd gone home, and people were all crowding around it, going, "Wow,
Yeah.
look at who thought of doing this?
People
Just
so
wow, what does it
pretentious,
man.
mean?" And it was
I
like some
think
fella come in like, well, oh, "Sorry, see you later, everyone."
It's just a way to like clean dirty money in it, the art world.
I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
A lot of drug money.
I might try wiping my arse on a canvas and
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you do people buy art of like lunatics in fucking insane asylums
Yeah.
and they smear shit on the wall?
Yeah.
Ricky
and
Gervais has got
they-
Johnny does a bit
They
of
buy art
Really,
off
yeah.
by like elephants. What
Yeah.
elephants do.
Oh fuck! People are just. Do you know what's really embarrassing? I ever show you that? Like, look, I'm a huge movie fan, cinephile, and there was this book, 1001 movies you should see before you die, and there was some brilliant pictures in it, like the full pages, they're like a black and white picture of like Marlon Brando on the waterfront,
Yeah.
and I cut like the ones I liked out and I collaged them and I put them together in frames,
Yeah.
and I put it on eBay. Not not a sniff, and it looks cool, like it looks good. I'm
Have you
convinced.
still got
Yeah,
the
just
book?
the hunk. Yeah, I've still got the book.
Can
It's
I-
just cut
can
to
I have it
pieces.
to cut
Yeah,
things out.
yeah, it's really
Okay.
good. I've cut loads out to be fair. But yeah. But,
There's no pictures left in it.
so they're just in my room now. Really,
funny.
really quickly about. Did you battle someone?
yeah,
On the-
diamond.
So what? That must be like a. I mean, let's be honest, right? I know. Was you like, I'm gonna fucking wipe the floor with this fella?
Or was
You know, it was really it was difficult because like like Diamond was really sound. Like she was really like chilled. She like her personality was kind of like infectious. Like when you're around her, just because she was like a bit sassy and like what you just couldn't help but like her, you know what I
Yeah.
mean. But then like on the day of the battles, like my throat was I was fucked. So I went from being like, oh, I'm confident, and then I was like, my throat's fucked. But then because I knew the song, I kind of figured it was like, I'm not gonna try going full pelt at the start because obviously like there's different parts of the song. But I knew because I like the song like Change Is Gonna Come is like one of my favorite songs. Like I love Sam Cooke,
Yeah.
and like it was a song I'd performed like loads of times in the past. So I was like, if I wait for it towards a certain point at the end,
you know when it's coming
when
up.
like
Yeah.
when the build comes, then that's when I'll just let go.
Give
And
what you've got.
like whatever comes out. But that will at least then I can go like full power. And so like we did the battle, and like thankfully she got taken by Will at the end of the battle, and it was one of those I didn't want to beat her. I mean, I probably shouldn't say this, but I think there was other people on the team I would have preferred to beat.
Right. Yeah.
That's fine to say.
Yeah.
though,
Yeah,
isn't
I
it?
think-
Like, if you're
I
getting
think-
on with someone and
yeah,
then
I
you know, I
think-
don't really know that person. I'd
Yeah,
rather
like
beat them.
there was other people who I would have preferred to beat. But at the same time, you know,
what can you do?
there's not a
Yeah,
lot you can
true.
do. In, like,
Do you think
in
it
those
it
situations.
benefited you sort of going on with your mate so that like
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
no, luckily you were on different teams and that. And you know, obviously going into it that you might get to a stage where it's head to head or whatever, but having that person there for it
Yeah,
must have been
it's
so
an
like made it a bit
advantage.
easier. Like,
Well, it made it so much easier because we lived together anyway.
yeah,
So when we then got onto the live shows, you got put in like these apartments, and so like me and Max got an apartment,
sound.
had our apartment
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
So it was basically just the same as us living at home.
Yeah.
Except that we were like, oh, we got more space and we got a garden now.
Yeah, it was well nicer.
And like it was a hell of a lot nice. Like we were literally like both got our own bathrooms, not having to like wait for like one shower.
Yeah.
We should come on The Voice next year.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, this was great. Like,
Yeah, that's cool. Isn't it? It must be weird doing that with someone you don't know. Like, and you might not even like them, but you've just been put there and they're sitting there singing. You're like, shut up, will you?
That's why I could never just move in with someone I don't know. Like how people do flat shares and that. I think you're an insane person.
Yeah. It's
You
weird.
know,
We done one in
another life.
Melbourne, didn't we?
Oh, we lived with an Indian
An
couple.
Indian couple in Melbourne for, what was it, 3 months, 2
Someone's
months or something?
birthday,
Pretty nice.
And
Yeah, they were sound
they
as
were
fuck. It was
lovely.
just weird living with someone that you don't know.
Yeah.
You know, you've never met them before, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, we both use this bathroom now, shall we? It's like, okay, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird.
It is weird.
I had a question I thought of. It's because there was Will.i.am, Jennifer Hudson, Tom Jones, and who was the last judge?
Gavin Rossdale.
Yeah. So it
Who's
finished.
that guy?
Have you heard of Bush?
No.
Is a British band. And
Right.
they're huge, a lot bigger in America.
Yeah.
But he's the front man for Bush.
Oh, right, okay, cool.
I was wondering if there was any singer, you know what I mean, like celebrity that could be an ideal judge. You know what I mean, hypothetically, who would you pick out of all of the, you know what I mean, the people? Even if it was like someone mad figure like Quincy Jones or something like that.
For The Voice.
I feel like
yeah.
for like mentors, it's a difficult question because like there's a few people who I'm looking at and like I feel like they like vocally I don't know what like their skill is, where I'd put them against the voice coaches, but at the same time I'm like they also seem like good people.
Even just a dream like to meet them, you know what I mean, and they
were like a Labyrinth.
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like Labyrinth for me is one of like the UK's like greatest like music exports. Like I feel like the stuff like he continues to just like keep pushing like the boundaries and like
Innovate.
That's mad. I never would have thought you were going to say that.
No.
Is Labyrinth still doing music?
Oh
and
yeah,
that?
yeah.
I'm so out of the loop with like
like
that side of music.
Labyrinth's been doing loads. Like he's been doing like the soundtrack for. We had a TV show called Euphoria.
It was on Channel 4. That one.
It's like he's been doing the music for that. He's been releasing his own music.
No way.
And like I feel like every time I listen to his voice, I'm just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like his voice is just like incredible.
Yeah.
Like in my opinion,
I'd
love to work. I'd
Labyrinth, if
love
you're
to work with
watching.
him.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, if you're watching.
Yeah.
I'm thinking you're going to say like John Legend or someone like that. You know what I mean? Like,
If you're watching Labyrinth, I love all your stuff as well. Big fan.
Well, what if you could have a comedy mentor? Like
Stand up.
The Voice stand up.
Probably stand up or like, yeah, he's me boy.
Okay, what
Love
about you?
him.
I don't know. It's weird, isn't it? I would mind like Mark Normand or something. Someone's a sick
Schultz?
joke writer. Schultz.
Schultz, be like, show me how to do this crowd work.
Yeah.
No, I want them long, drawn out, sad bits.
Mine would, not for anything, just for life, mentor Dolly Parton.
Really, Dolly.
Big fan of Dolly
Do you
Parton.
ever see that clip of Dolly Parton and she's singing Jolene? And then she tells the story of Jolene, and like, because it was a real woman, wasn't it?
Oh yeah,
Who,
yeah,
like,
and so like loads of the stuff because she grew up in like proper like hillbilly slums.
There's
Was
one
she,
Nothing, dirt floor. That coat of many colours. Her mum genuinely made a coat for her out of rags.
But there's like an interview where she's going, oh, there was this man and he was in a truck and he took me down the road. And
Danger! She was such a little like dynamo.
Yeah, and then just goes, here's a song about it.
I was almost cut into 16 pieces. Turned out he'd kill 18 prostitutes that year. Here's a song about him. It's called I Would Nearly Have My Throat Slit.
Yeah. It's called Joshua.
It's mad.
It's genuinely about a man. And another one, so there's an interview with her where she's saying about she saw this beautiful woman and she's saying to her mum, like, when I grow up, I want to look just like this lady. And her mum was like, Dolly, that's the village whore. And that's who she based her look on.
What's the one about Imar running off with a fella or something?
Oh, yeah.
It tells a story about, like, she's seeing this fella and Imar's like, oh, he's no good for you, like stay away from him. And she goes to meet him down by the lake one day, and he doesn't turn up, and she's like, where the fuck's he? And she's fucked off with Imar.
Fuck off. I love country music's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Country music wild. What was that? It was like a TikTok ages ago. And it was like men country music is like, I like my beer and my fucking red shirts. And then like women's country music is like, I shot him in the face.
I shot him and I'll do it again.
Yeah, man.
Cheat on me, you dirty, no good bitch.
What is your music inspo? Like, what inspires your creation?
Yeah, that's a question.
You know what? It's so difficult. It's difficult because like I love like so many different like styles of music. Like still to this day, like Infinity on High by Fall Out Boy is like one of my favorite albums to listen to.
Yeah.
Like I can't help but like put it on like all the time. But then like another part of my phone is just like straight rap, and then it's like it's difficult. But I'd say like R&B and like soul are kind of like the stuff that like
that's your main go-to.
Like, it's like my main go-to. But then again, I'm not opposed to like doing other genres. Like I work with people like from different genres, and a lot of the time, like for me, when I'm in the studio, like I prefer like the vibe. Like if we've got a good vibe going on, the energy's there. Like I feel like you can achieve anything.
Yeah, I
feel like some of my previous experiences within the industry, there's certain people who like we sit there with a notepad and it's all very like methodical, and I don't think that works because like music's about like feeling
expression
something
and stuff like that. Yeah,
unless you can really vibe, like unless you've got a good vibe in the studio, and people like actually feeling what they're doing.
Yeah, you want to be relaxed in that in there as well, don't you? You want to feel like pressure with some fella writing notes and all that. What have you tried any different like what genres have you experimented with any or?
Yeah, like I've written music for like that's been like rock. Like one song I wrote is being recorded by it's called the first version is called Someday, and then the Italian version is called Vitem di Cool. It's sung by a guy called Zucchero.
Right.
He's a rock and roll Hall of Famer, and I was like, got the email, and they were like, "Oh, by the way, he wants to record the song," and I was like,
"Safe,
safe, no problem."
That's cool.
So yeah, it only got like a C in English language, so
nice.
And I got a D in music, and still managing to release
GCSEs and shit, man.
You mean
they just don't matter. Yeah, they don't matter. If you're trying to make your way in a certain thing of like music, acting, stand up, artists, none of that shit really matters, man.
No,
like it's not going to get you anywhere really.
Maths or science.
Fair enough if you want to be a fucking doctor.
If you want to be a mathematician, then yeah, you're going to need that maths degrees. Nerds. So Amy mentioned to me before, like when I don't know if you can't talk about it, we'll cut it out. The first album you were bringing out.
Yeah.
Did they say they wanted it to be covers or something?
Do
you know talk about that?
I've done a deep dive on you.
Do you know what? I feel like I can air out with Chopper now because I'm not under contract with anyone, so I can air out with shit. So basically,
and he's had a bath. This is gonna.
I mean, I'm going to keep it. So
just
what happened was,
do
you know what? Just fuck it. So like I won came off the show, and I was contractually like I had to record an EP as part of the show.
Yeah.
But I was told we're going to record the EP. There's going to be some covers. We'll put on an original song on the EP, but all had to be done within a week. So and whilst within that week, I was also doing like media stuff as well.
Yeah.
So we recorded the EP. In that week, it got put out, and I was told we're going to do an album. So I was like, okay, no problem. Like, this all sounds great. So I spent like close to a year, just being sent to studios with like producers and writers and writing loads of different songs. Gets to like the end of the year, and they were like, okay, you've written quite a lot. We're going to start to put the album together next year. So year rolls round, and it gets like the end of January, and I'm like asking my management like what's happening, what's going on. It was like, don't worry, the album's still coming. So it gets to like February point, and they're saying, so we've decided this is going to be the single, and these are going to be the songs on the album. Now within, obviously, the songs that have been put onto the album, some of them had literally just been that one session in the studio. Like, I turned up to the studio with the writer and the producer. We'd written the song there and then. So that's just like a rough. So in my mind, like, that's just going to be a rough. And the next thing, I'm being told, oh, that's been sent. So that one studio session's now being sent to be mixed and mastered. I'm like, well, hold on. Like, you've gone from saying, like, we're actually going to talk about what's going on. To me now being told, these are the songs that are going on. And now we're going to have you record some covers. And I'm just like, I don't really know what's going on. And it kind of felt like, when I looked at the album, it was like, we're going to slide on his EP and then we're going to put on some other songs to pad it out. So at that point, I was like, well, I can't, there's not a lot I can do in this situation, because as the artist, the label and the management are making these decisions.
You didn't have much creative control over stuff.
It was just a really, obviously I'm going into interviews and I'm having to like defend like their decision and be like, I'm really looking forward to the album. Meantime, I don't like this album.
Do you think that why, like, do you know a lot of times when people win these singing competitions,
I was just going to say that
they don't, like, some of them don't really do that well off the back of it. And do you think that might be why? Because it's a bit detrimental to them, because they go one song and then a bunch of covers that they might not be involved in, and then they go, here's the EP, and everyone gets it and goes, I don't rate that much, or something, something like that.
You can't really tell who the artist is from it, because they've not been allowed to express themselves as they would want to.
Well, that shows that you've got like fucking the bottle as well. Do you know what I mean? Because like people just lie down and go, oh yeah, I'm just fucking happy to be here. And you're like, no, I'm not. Yeah.
I feel, because it's one of those. I feel like the voice producers. I'm probably gonna get in trouble for this, but I feel like the voice producers better vocalists than other TV shows. However, and like, I feel like my experiences on the show, like from the start to finish, like they were so supportive from like all the staff, ITV, all the runners, like everyone behind the scenes, like really nice. So it's, in my opinion, it's not the show's problem, but it's everything that comes after it with regards to the labels and labels on the management. Because
do you think the labels sort of just see you as like, oh, he's a competition winner, this fucking, or like try and rush it through, or
I feel
a lot of different things.
I feel like the person who like they want you to be, and like who like the label and the my management wanted me to be, just wasn't in line with who I am. Like
it's weird that, isn't it? Because you being you is what won you the show, and then as soon as you've won the show, they try and make you into something different. And it's like, but that's not who won the show.
No, you do a lot of covers on the show, don't you?
Yeah, so like I'd done a lot of covers on the show, and like every single time like a decision would be made, it was like, well, just think about the future. We're going to do this, and it was. I kind of felt like I was compromising in thinking that both sides were, we're both going to meet in the middle, but it just reached certain stages where I was just like, well, hang on. First, I got told I'm going to be releasing a single before Christmas. Now, Christmas has been, it's January. I haven't released music, but because I've said I was going to release music on Christmas, now people are going to go, oh well, he's not released music, so that then losing kind of the attention on that. And then different things kept happening where it was like, we're going to use this song now. It's just like, but I said I've already said I didn't even enjoy that session. But now I'm being told that song's going on my album. So are you going to listen to me as an artist, or am I just getting completely railroaded? And then it got to a point where I was literally just getting pissed all the time, because it got to a point where I was like, there's no point in me actually like trying to like fight this thing anymore, because all the decisions have been made. I've got to do the interviews. Everything's been scheduled out for me, so it is what it is. So I literally did the interviews, and then then I found out via newspaper article that my label was dropping me as well. So no one contacted me directly. I found out via. It was either the World Cup or the Euros. One of the two football competitions was going on, because I was at I think it's the Shankly on the roof, and they had the screens up, and everyone was we're all getting pissed. And then one of my mates sent me, and I posted on Instagram, I was like, thank you for my P45 my newspaper.
That's so
but I kept it amicable, but it was one of those, like, I felt like if people would have been more honest and open with me, I think overall we could have got a lot more done.
Yeah.
But people made decisions, and then it was up to me because my name was on the product, which is essentially what the album was. It was like, to me, it was just a product that I had to sell.
Yeah.
So it was just one of those where, right, do the interviews, get it done, and then I can be on my way. So
yeah.
So shit.
So when you won The Voice, what was the prize? Was recording contracts? And
so the prize was a EP recording deal, but then again, that was literally like I did covers, and then there was one original track called Globetrotter, which is again done in the day.
did you get cash prize?
Yeah, I got a cash prize.
She's so not shy about it.
But again, I didn't get my actual album deal money for like over a year. So as a result, I had to get loans from my management, and then the loans were taken off my overall lump sum.
If someone came up to you and they were like, listen, I'm going on The Voice, and you think they had a good shot at getting where you got, what advice would you give them?
I would say to them, go on The Voice, but make sure you have your own manager.
So manager before you go on.
Yeah. Make sure that whoever manages you has your best interests.
No kernels like the Elvis.
Because I feel like if you have a manager who's going to support you and actually fight your case, you've got a chance.
Yeah.
But I think if you kind of get taken in by their like other people who don't know you and aren't willing to actually fight your corner, then you're not gonna. I don't think.
Have a manager.
Yeah, basically have a manager.
Yeah, it seems like a horrible, tough industry.
It is. It's fucking cutthroat.
Most industries are ruthless though when you get into the top levels of them.
Yeah,
Like,
but even like what is there's a Red Hot Chili Peppers song. The music video is just like people who've gone to LA to try and make it.
Oh, down in California.
Is that what
I
it is?
think it's one
Yeah,
of them,
and
yeah.
it's just like
I don't know if it is that one, but I know what you're on about.
yeah.
And they're all coming on and playing and performing the song, aren't they?
Like,
Oh
Yeah,
I remember it now. No, it's not down in California.
Have you been to America and that?
I've been to America a few times. I find it strange.
Yeah.
I find like seeing people with guns and shit just walking down the street and just like. It's like insecure little motherfucker.
Like,
everyone's got one though, haven't they?
You have to, don't
Like,
you?
if you don't have one, then you're like, I'm vulnerable now. Like,
when we were talking about traveling, we were talking about Amsterdam before, weren't we?
oh yeah.
And you were saying
Amsterdam.
like,
So you said the best time to go is Pride.
Literally, we stumbled across it. Me and my friend Dave, who was on about before.
Yeah.
And called Sam Glancy. Lee, we decided we wanted to go to Amsterdam. I at this point I've been in the studio for a couple of months, and I was like, I'm not really seeing people that much. I just want to get away and just go do something. So we booked Amsterdam. We get there, and so like we'll getting on the plane, and it was packed. Plane was pretty raucous, and it was fun. And then the first like day we went into city centre, it was like there is a lot of people. I was like, no, the weather's nice, but there was a lot of people here. And then we're just like looking around. It's like something's going on here. And then
something's going on here. Meanwhile, just
literally, we're just like something's going on here. And then we get to like more closer to the city centre canals, and then that's when we were like, shit, there is like full on like Pride Festival going on, and there was like boats going like all up and down the canal.
Yeah, of
like
course,
music going and everything. And it was like such cool vibes. We were just like,
that's what I want to do when we go hire a boat.
But do you know what? Is it not like getting proper chonged and then there's loads of people? Is that, and they're all like, "Ooh, is that not a bit much?"
I love it. Like it was such a fun fun energy. Like you literally seen like police officers, like the police officer had like stuff on.
Stripping.
And
Police officers like,
it was like just the whole like. Even when you weren't like where the boat parade was, like we went into like the city centre, like everyone was just, like the city was like bustling.
I
Good vibes
I
going
just
on.
love the place.
What month is this? Do you know?
I'm not sure.
Be able to find it online. Yeah.
Amsterdam Pride. Maybe we'll go for that
Yeah.
then, whenever that is.
If you find out when the boat parade is, because like you see all these like rafts and boats going down.
Yeah.
I want to be on
And,
one.
like every like there's
You get a dinghy?
people on the
Monaco.
boats dancing, like all dancing. And
Yeah,
shit. It was
try and
like,
get our own
my
Mile
old
High
like,
raft.
It says Amsterdam Pride. It starts Saturday 30th of July, ends Sunday 7th of August.
Yeah.
July.
Pride month, innit? But
Oh,
we
right,
just need to
okay,
find
yeah,
the
yeah.
weekend of
We
like the
will.
We
festival.
was going to go in June, but we'll go in
Parade.
July.
Yeah.
How exciting.
Do you wanna
We'll
come?
get
You can
our
come if you want, man.
leather harnesses on.
take the baby.
yeah.
The world, yeah. I think it's the 30th. They have the boat
Yeah.
parade and stuff.
Yeah.
I was always told the World Cup as well, because like the streets are draped orange and stuff. You know?
Yeah, it'd be cool, but there's a lot of
Nah.
alcohol involved for
Yeah.
football,
Yeah,
isn't
as soon
there?
as I mention,
Hooligans.
as soon as I mention football teams, like out.
I like football. I just don't
No, you
like.
don't.
I do. I like watching it. I like going out and, like for a pint and watching it and that, but I don't like some of the vibes it brings,
Yeah,
especially
true.
when people lose.
I
and shit
think
like
it's
that,
worse
like-
watching the UFC or the boxing.
Yeah, anything where there's loads of alcohol involved,
Testosterone.
it goes,
I hate it.
oh, my
I like
guy
UFC.
lost,
Yeah.
fuck you.
Well,
you
every
know, like
every boxing event that I've been to, it's just coked up.
scraps in boxes,
Yeah,
in
it's
boxing
crazy.
all the time, yeah.
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 Well,
But there's fights at the darts. I went to the
the
darts.
darts?
Oh, mate, it was chaos, yeah.
I was never 118.
Yeah. I don't know, because people just get off their heads, don't they? And then
Yeah.
someone's kicked a pint over and then they're scrapping. Like,
We got some questions from Andrew Boyle.
go ahead, we'll get
Big
some.
Andy.
Oh, wait, I was just going to say,
Sorry.
on Ched, we was talking about, like, what is females, like,
Yeah,
football?
football.
Female football.
No,
What
but
are
it's
you
not,
No,
is it? There's not,
You know,
like,
Ed.
no,
Like,
I
where,
know.
where do you find arenas where it's 90%
going-
women
No.
going, come on?
Well, that's the
What
Bill,
is it?
the Bill Baird joke that he's got.
Yeah.
Because women football players and soccer players in America are going, how come we're not getting paid as much as the men? And it's like, no one's watching you.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
There's no one coming to the
there should be the
stadiums
stadium
and
should
that.
be packed full of
Yeah.
women.
Yeah.
But
like
I'm
topless
just
and
on
shit.
about, like, people who watch football. Like, that's their hobby. And it's usually men. Like,
Yeah.
so as to generalise, but it is mainly men in the crowd. So what is the female version of that? Where
To
all
be fair,
women
Wembley
flock?
Wembley was pretty full.
Oprah.
No.
Oprah, Ellen.
Real Housewives, live viewings.
No, just because they go watch it in the audience, don't
What
they?
do we
Like
Oh, yeah.
what do we congregate for?
Strippers.
women.
What?
What strippers have you been to? It's just thousands of women. Oh, like male
like,
strippers.
yeah, like
strippers.
male
The
Okay.
Dream
like
Boy
male-
shows and
yeah,
all
like-
shit like that.
Protests
Yeah, maybe. Protests
about anything.
about fucking it again. Yeah. Should we have a little break before Andrew Boyle's questions?
How
Yeah.
long's that been?
An hour
An hour
15.
15, yeah.
Okay, yeah, just have a little wee.
Sweet.
So there's a little part 2 to your Amsterdam tale there, wasn't there?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So like, obviously, like Pride's going on. One of the people who came along with me, he decided he was going to take some mushrooms, and obviously I can't take mushrooms because I'm allergic to mushrooms. So
Oh
like,
shit, yeah.
yeah, and I know. Do you know what? It's actually really grim because it's like one of the things that I haven't tried.
Right. Can you not do acid either? Because that's
No,
like a
I've done acid and like I've done 2CB and stuff like that.
okay, right, yeah.
Are you allergic to all mushrooms?
Yeah, like literally mushrooms.
No way.
Fungal intolerant.
I literally start heaving.
Yeah.
Like I'll literally just start.
At least your mate
Oh,
had the
for
spotter. Then
Yeah.
that's good, yeah.
And like he took like a little bit of him and he was like, I'm not feeling these.
Danger.
And like
Anytime anyone says that, I go, just give it another half an hour. Just give it another half an hour and then see.
and then he took the rest and that was it. It was like I've never like it's one of those like I've tripped many times before, but it was like something else. And obviously like Pride's going on and like all these
Yeah.
people
Sounds
walking
amazing.
around, and he
Yeah.
like at one point we were just like, no, Dave, don't like don't speak to the police. Like the police are very like the weird thing is like the police are like really nice in
Yeah.
Amsterdam.
Yeah,
It's like
really tolerant, aren't
Yeah.
you?
the only time when like I've literally had like a conversation with a police officer and not been like,
It's all nice. Yeah.
like
Mm.
they are just really nice, but he was just like, wandering around and he's like, the colours of the lights. It was like,
In Pride as well, but you know, like all the flags and shit everywhere. You're like, wow,
Yeah.
I've found that with Dutch people, like they're very blunt. Like if they don't like you, they're very honest.
Yeah.
But
Have you had any police experience?
Yeah, I had one, a sniffer dog stopped me in Central. I got searched and all that, but I had nothing on me. And that was it. That was the only time I've ever had anything.
I had to walk up to police in China and tell them, I got no money.
Oh yeah,
I
know
can't
that one.
speak
Oh,
the
yeah.
language.
Well,
and I don't know where to go.
I do that bit that I do on stage when I was a kid, and I had a little bit of weed on me, and they took me home to me mum.
Yeah. That's sad, isn't it? Like, oh no.
I also like prank called the police when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like I must have been 6 or something, 6 or 7.
You prank? Oh yeah.
Yeah, I called them as soon as they picked up. I went, and then, but then they called back because they thought that might be an emergency.
Well,
No, just a prank. Sorry.
And then I got in trouble.
there's actually more to it because when they came and got me mum, they still had to take me to St Anne Street for like questioning, believe it or not, for a little bit of weed.
Yeah.
How old was you?
15.
Surely that was just like some sort of like
intimidation.
Yeah,
make you think twice
I
about
don't know what it was,
having
but
weed
my
again or
mum,
something.
it was really funny. They put you in this glass box, in like, it's like wooden glass box.
Yeah.
It's like a waiting room for you to wait to get questioned. But my mum, because I was underage, my mum had to come into the questioning room with me. And I always remember him sitting in this, and my mum was sitting. My mum was brilliant about it, by the way, because she knew the score. It was a bit of weed, not hitting anyone, blah, blah, blah. And there's this, like, 8 police officers go over to this one holding cell and take this ginger guy out who's, like, 7 foot tall.
Yeah.
He was in his boxies. It looked like they just ripped him out of bed. You know what I mean? Like, he was drugged, and they ripped him out of bed. And, like, 8 in the row, escorting him, and he walks past the thing, and he looks in, and my mum's going, like that, and fixing my hair. And I was like, what are you doing? Fixing my hair in a police station, Helen. She's like, oh yeah, I'm just trying to fix your hair. Like.
That's
Make you
funny,
look presentable.
Yeah, and then I got questions, and I said, nout.
It's
And I
right.
went, good lad.
It's hilarious. Fucking hell.
Wow.
Yeah, Andrew Boyle
go on.
stories. So we do a talent show. Well, Dean and Amy do it. Yeah, we do a talent show. No. And it's, so Andrew Boyle's question is, if you had to come on our talent show and not sing, what else would you do?
So it's a monthly live show that we do. We call it a talent show. But one of the talents is like someone came and ate a tin of beans.
We've got a minute to do something. It can be most people do stand up, but we go, it's a talent show, so you can do what you want. So we had a guy like hammer nails into his nose and shit like that. So if you had a minute and you weren't allowed to sing, what do you reckon you'd do?
I'd try juggling whilst rolling my eyelids back.
Yeah.
Do you not
Struggling.
Like the ton, like the Undertaker.
I was that weird kid on the playground who'd like run up to you, and I'll do it actually.
What, fold your eyelids?
Yeah, I'll show you.
Oh God.
Oh no. No, like, so easy.
You should have done that. You should have done that on The Voice.
Good. That's a pretty good talent.
Do you know when they all turn around and you're singing like that? And you go, can this go back? Can this go back around?
I just stand there doing that whilst trying to juggle.
Oh, that might be quite fun.
You probably win.
Yeah, maybe.
Come
It
down.
seems like, because we say like a lot of people do stand up and then someone comes and does something mad, it's usually them that win it.
Yeah.
Because it's
winner
just like,
of The Voice and Miles High.
yeah. Got a cool £50.
Yeah, you won £50 prize.
And then we go, right, you're ours now.
Yeah.
You're going to do this LP.
Yeah. Yeah, we do want to do a one hit wonder, so we might.
I'll sign me up for the
Yeah,
wedding.
man, let's go.
Okay.
We wanted to try and do a, like everyone tries for a Christmas #1.
Yeah.
We want to try and do a Halloween tune. Because there's no Halloween
There is
song.
no-
It's not like
that, I think that could work, you know.
Yeah.
it's a gap in the market there.
I mean, if you hear me like in a couple of months, it's like Mo Jamil, new Halloween show.
Yeah. Hey! That'd be so
That was
funny.
feature
I hope you
feature.
do. That'd be boss.
Yeah. We're also making a film, so if you want any of your songs in the film,
Yeah.
you can do that.
Can I play a dead body?
If you want, yeah.
Are
Right
you
in.
alright?
No, do you know what? I've always, like, you know, when you see like those American TV shows, and it's like NCIS, and there's like some contorted body.
Yeah.
in a scrap. I've always wanted to be one of those. I'd like,
Why?
because I want to be that. Like, I want someone to stand over my face, like my dead body, and be like, damn. This guy sure had a lot. This guy sure had a lot going for him. Or like,
so young.
I'm gonna write that in.
Just write a dead body in. I'll kill someone.
Yeah,
We just find one somewhere.
it'll
Like,
just be a normal scene.
is that
and
Mo
then
Jamil
we'll
on The
walk up-
Voice?
We'll make, you can be more, and we'd be like, oh,
Play himself,
no.
yeah, that would be so funny.
Little cameo, yeah.
That's definitely, you're in the film
You're in.
now. You made it, kid.
I made it.
And all you have to do is win The Voice and now look.
Like it's weird. Like people are like, oh, I love being in films. Like, no, I want to be a dead body.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to be the body on the floor. That's like,
That's so funny.
That could be your talent. You could come up and go, look how dead I look. For a minute.
Poke me in Everton. Not gonna move.
Oh, that's mad.
That's mad.
His other question was a question for everyone. Have you ever been well, I don't know, mind you might not. Has anyone been genuinely starstruck? Question for everyone.
Do you know what? This is, my mum used to tell a lot of porcupines, and one time we was in a pub and she was like, oh, that's Marilyn Manson. And I was convinced.
Where was the pub?
In Liverpool.
Okay, that's a bit more believable. If you're like, it was in like St. Helens or fucking...
And so I went years believing that I'd met Marilyn Manson. It was just a goth. It was just some goth in Liverpool. And I was with my best mate, and it was like years later, I was like, oh, do you remember when we met Marilyn Manson? And she was like, that wasn't real.
just some fat goth.
And I was like, oh,
That's hilarious, though.
yeah.
So have you genuinely starstruck, though? Has that ever
I
happened?
don't get, because I see human beings.
Yeah.
Supposed to be that guy.
I know, yeah.
But maybe Dolly Parton.
Yeah, I mean,
Have you met Dolly?
No,
though?
no.
Have you ever met anyone who you've been starstruck at? You're like, no one means anything to me.
I've never met anyone
No.
big enough
Yeah.
to be starstruck.
That's it.
But I've met, like, when we went to Vegas to watch the UFC,
Shane Gillis.
meeting Shane Gillis was
that
cool,
good.
yeah. But like because it was like fight week, so there's just loads of fighters and that walking about. So it's weird seeing people, like famous people, in person. I just think it's more weird than being starstruck. You're like, oh my god, there's that person who I've seen so many times on the screen. Like seeing Rogan having his tea,
Mad.
and we were going, "There's Joe Rogan right there." Like this
Eating a
is
steak,
weird.
I imagine eating some fucking elk.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
something.
But it's just weird. I think it's more like strange to see people in person than being actually starstruck. I think.
Obviously, we'll save Mo till last. That's going to be the best.
Yeah.
Mine was pretty dull for some people, but huge Everton fan. And I was a mascot for Everton when I was about 8 years of age.
Yeah.
Away
Dressed as
against
what?
Aston Villa. No, I was a mascot. So
They have like kids
there's
coming on.
kids holding hands with the footballers, but I met like the
Just
entire
an
Everton
Everton
team.
kid.
Yeah. And I went out and because David Weir was the captain at the time, and he went,
Right.
just do what I do. And it
Weird.
was David Weir, his name
got
was,
bullied.
Scottish guy. No, he's a rough Glaswegian.
Is he? Yeah.
He was doing
That's
the
why
bullying.
though.
But I remember going out into Villa Park to
Yeah.
like 40,000 people just
Yeah.
screaming. It was like, I still remember that.
No way.
And David Weir went, do what I do. So I'm watching him. And he's like clapping the crowd, so I start clapping the crowd. Like a fucking mascot. So that was my one, yeah.
Yeah, can you beat David Weir?
Wayne Rooney, met Wayne Rooney too.
there's a few people. Well, there's two. David Attenborough
Oh,
Shit.
fuck
was
off.
one of them.
He's got a tattoo of him. Show him the tattoo.
And it was
No, it
like,
doesn't look like
it-
him.
It looks more like my Chinese granddad than David Attenborough.
and so like
Well,
we were
where
doing-
was that? Sorry.
it was on a red carpet, and it's like I'm like walking along and like doing like different interviews, like different people on the red carpet, and then I turn to like do like the next interview, and like I take a step and I look up and just like, oh shit, it's David. It's like literally like the voice of God. Like,
Yeah.
it's, like-
Yeah.
And I'm just looking at him, and I was just like, wait, don't make any contact. And I like went like that.
You should have been like, and here we have David.
and like my manager at the time, he was like, hold on, I've got to get a photo. And like my manager was like fully like geek, and I like tried to like remain like completely like calm
Chill.
about it, but he was like, no, like it was like we're stopping so we can have a
It's a
photo.
national treasure.
Yeah, you don't know when he's going to fucking die. You're not going to see him again.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
well, I met this 3 people like all at the same like time, but I'm a massive Arsenal fan. Like I grew up an Arsenal fan, and I met Thierry Henry.
That's big.
And like literally, I was just, it's one of those like spend all that time like watching this person as a kid. Like this, like the man is literally the sole reason why like so many Arsenal fans are in pain now because like we grew up like idolizing him, and like he made like in our eyes he made Arsenal what it is.
Yeah, one of the coolest footballers ever as well. Like
literally
ever. Score like fucking go past 8 people, score top in, and then just walk like that. And you were like, oh, he's so fucking cool.
We seen him.
Oh, was that?
I think
we saw him on the
Eurostar.
Eurostar, and he had a chihuahua jumper on.
Yeah, I went. I was. He was like in front of us in the queue, and I went, "That's Thierry Henry." And I went, "Amy, that man is like proper famous footballer." And he was like, "Is he?" I was like, Thierry Henry there. He's mad. And he was just on the same train as us. Like,
did
weird.
Did you speak to him at all?
Yeah, so like it was mad. So like it was for the Prince's Trust Awards, and it's like I saw him and I was like, I've got to go speak to him. So like I spoke to him, and like I was proper nervous because I'm stood next to him, just like, oh my gosh, like this. I literally was glued to like a screen for so many years just because of this one man. It's like I'm speaking to him, and he was like hello, nice to meet you, and all this. And then I went off to perform, and then I performed, gone to go sit back down in my seat, and like I'm watching the ceremony go on, and then I get like a tap on my leg, and I'm just like still watching the ceremony, get another tap on my leg, and my manager's like, Mo, I'm just like, yeah, lean forward, and then Thierry Henry just leaning forward. I'm like, oh my god, he's here again, and he's like, oh my god, you were so timid, and then I hear your voice, and wow, and I'm just like. And I was like, I don't care if I never sing again. Like, Thierry went, wow, and I was like, okay, I was just like, Thierry likes my singing. And then after it, like we're like in this like the foyer bit, and then I spoke to Tom Hardy, and Tom Hardy was like,
here we go,
and like I was just like, what? And, like it was one of those things where like when like you kind of just like, I was like, what the like
overload,
like my brain's just like. Wait a minute, is this Tom Hardy? And like he's like one of the nicest people like you'll ever meet in your life. Like he was just like, he was like, hello, nice to meet you. And he was like, I just wanted to say like I thought you've got a lovely voice, keep going. And I was just like, oh my gosh! I was just staring at him like, oh my gosh! It's not like Tom Hardy. Literally
so mad.
But he was like one of the nicest people ever. And then Bryan Cranston was there as well.
Oh,
so I was literally just
come on, David Weir though.
Yeah,
Marilyn Manson.
Like if it was just one of those days where I was just like never
it's a wild day.
Never in a million years. Like I got home and the mates like, oh, how was it? And I was just like, I was speaking to Thierry Henry. They were like, no, you weren't. And I was like, no, look at this photo. I was like, this photo is like being glued to my wall. Like when I get home,
that's boss.
Wow.
Who's the biggest person that follows you on social media? So every now and then you get someone, you go, fuck off, they're following us. That's mad, isn't it? Like,
I don't know.
Probably Jason Manford.
That's probably one of ours, I think. Yeah, it's weird.
I know Katie Price follows me on Instagram.
Katie Price.
I know Katie Price follows me, and there's a few other people. Like, there's a few other people who like within like reality TV.
Slides in them DMs, Mo.
And
You've got a partner, haven't you?
Yeah. Love my lovely Peely, my sweet pea.
She'll understand. Just say, listen, Katie Price is a fan. We're going to have a reality show. A bit of coin.
Mad Katie Price. Is there any more questions from?
Did it not? No, sorry.
No. I think that might be it then, innit? Anything else you wanted to talk about?
I don't know. I think that's it.
I think that'll do us, innit?
That was good.
Music out at the end of the year.
Yeah, plug your everything.
Yeah, gonna
socials and that, or
socials, Mo Jamil, and I should be having some music coming in October.
Keep your eyes peeled.
Keep your eyes peeled. It's going to be
He's also starring in Jane Did What, a new film.
Mild High Club production.
As a dead body.
As a dead body.
Dreams.
But yeah, go follow Mo and check out music and that, and go add to them 18 million views.
Yeah, go and watch the fucking Iron Sky song, because it's incredible.
But nice one for coming on, man. Really appreciate it. It was dead fun.
And sharing your personal stories with us.
Thank you.
Man, it was nice to hear.
Strength.
So we've got our next live show sold out, but it'll be on Patreon if you want to check that out. We've just launched a little merch shop on Etsy, so go check that out as well if you want to see some designs that I've done.
I'm gonna be doing some crayon drawings.
Yeah, if you want, man, we would just putting all of our merch on there from now on. So just go.
S's. I'm just gonna do that S.
Yeah.
Just do you like stick men, and we put it up as an original
Keegan piece.
You never know. See what happens.
Maybe draw it with your feet or something. And
Yeah, you know you're gonna say dick, weren't you? You know you were gonna say dick.
put a pencil there. But you probably might get guys, you know, if you do it with your feet or your dick.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Then people
Little,
might
just put me feet in paint and then on paper.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
That might be good actually, because we had a porn star on. He put, get the members only club card, please.
Oh.
He put this. Not this one exactly, but the one we give him, he put it up his dick and then sold it for 100 quid.
Not this one.
So you know,
one of these for £100 because he put it in his foreskin.
if you'd ever stop for cash, you know what to do.
But will you give these to all of our guests?
I know.
I have questions like.
Do you want to try and put it in your foreskin?
I mean, we'll see how this bottle of rum goes.
Yeah. But this, and we also had a dominatrix on, and they sent us a video of someone wanking.
One of their clients wanking to the episode that she was on.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I went.
So if you're out there, you're welcome for that.
Yeah.
But we give these cards to our guests. It entitles you to one favour sometime. Expires when we're dead. So you've got a while, hopefully. Just keep hold of that. That's for you.
Cash that in one day.
I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna laminate it as well, so that it doesn't lose its crinkle.
And you know, if you ever strap for cash, put it in your foreskin, sell it for £100.
It's
£10 patrons can get one of them as well if you want to join the club. And the stuff for £5 patrons, you get discount on merch, and there's going to be 6 live shows on there soon. Sports Day will be going on there soon, which was dead fun. So go check that out over there. Have you got anything coming up?
Yeah, I'm in work on.
Go see Tom at the Beatles Museum.
Yeah.
Tom,
give me money.
You can do what Tim Dillon used to do on the bus rides. That's where he used to do all his stand-up.
Stand-up, yeah. All the people I work with are fucking tired of me trying to be funny now.
If you want to go see Tom, he's at the Beatles Museum. And have we got anything else to say?
Patreon. We're starting filming on 9/11.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, other than that, then we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice one, everyone. Nice one again, Mo.
Thanks for
Really
coming on.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
And we'll see you all next week.
Love yous.
See you in a bit.
Bye.